Hello and welcome to Get Real Football Experts Pod. Well, not podcast. Let's get a little rundown for you today. I'm Dave Kress. Doing this at Dave Kress Sports on Twitter. Feel free to follow me if you would please. So today we finished off the North. Now we're going into the South of the NFC. We finished the NFC North. Looking pretty good. Feel free to comment. Give us some feedback on what you think. So here we go in the South. I'm going over the Saints today. So week 1 they take on the Atlanta Falcons. Obviously the Falcons had a great year last year with Julio Jones and Roddy White. Those two receivers are just outstanding. They're huge addition this free agent offseason was Steven Jackson, the running back, who previously played for the St. Louis Rams. But they lost Michael Turner, which is a clear upgrade though. Even here, they still have Jacquizz Rodgers also at the running back position. Both of those two running backs I just named are great receiving running backs out of the backfield. So that's just making their receiving offense even better. Tony Gonzalez is back now, so that's just a huge upgrade. Sean Payton's back for the Saints. I just don't think they're going to get this Week 1 win against the Falcons, so I'm going to give it to Atlanta. Starting the Saints out 0-1. Week 2, they're at the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. This is a good game. The Bucs have had a nice offseason. Obviously, 2 years ago in the draft, they took Doug Martin, the running back, who had a great rookie year, even though he was pretty solid all year until those two huge explosive games. That's when he really made a name for himself. They got Vincent Jackson last year. They had a big offseason last year, but they helped out their defensive side of the ball this year with, first off, they got Darrelle Revis in the Darrelle Revis trade with the Jets. That was a nice move. It was a big move for them. They traded away a lot, so they didn't have a first-round pick. But I think it's fair. Who were they going to get in the first round? Were they going to get maybe Xavier Rhodes, who would have been there at that point? Demo Leonard wouldn't have been, but Rhodes would have been there, so they could have had Rhodes or Revis clear Revis. But I don't know about the Saints. Drew Brees is always going to perform. Darren Sproles is pretty much another receiver for them. I love Jimmy Graham at tight end. He's just a great receiver. So I think it's going to be a really good game, though. I'm going to have to give it to the Buccaneers, though. So I'm going to have to start the Saints out 0-2 after that 2 games. So now week 3 they go home they go home against the Cardinals. I don't really like what the Cardinals have done. I don't think they addressed what they needed. Well, they got a guard, Chance Warmack, in the draft. Hold on, I'll look it up. Cooper. I think it's Cooper. Yeah, it's Cooper. But I just think they didn't really address the receiver position enough. And the quarterback, Carson Palmer's good, but I just don't like him as a future guy. I think they could have got any quarterback in that draft class. I definitely think a few of them are better than Palmer. Yeah, it is Cooper. That was a mistake. So then week 4, I gotta give the Saints a win here for week 3. I just don't like what the Cardinals have. I like the Saints this year. Their defense has nowhere to go but up. Obviously being 32nd in the league last year, so I'm going to give it 1 and 2. Then their first night game of the year, they will have 4 throughout the whole season. This is against the Dolphins on Monday Night Football, week 4. So, obviously the Dolphins are a huge talk this offseason. This is bringing in Mike Wallace and LRB. That's a good 2 great additions. They lost Jake Long, but it's really not a big deal. So in the first round they got, that was a surprising pick. How about their defense? They traded up 3rd overall. Everyone's thinking, wow, 3 left tackles off the board in a row, because people were assuming they were going to take Lane Johnson to tackle. But no, they took Deion Jordan, the pass rusher out of Oregon. But he's a great, not only does he pass rush well, he can also drop back. He's an outside linebacker in a 3-4, but he also plays DN on a 4-3. So I really like the Dolphins this year. But like I was saying, I kind of like the Saints here too. They're definitely going to have a bounce back year. So I'm going to give this win to the Saints, making them 2-2 after that Monday night win against the Dolphins. Then against week 5, they are going to the Bears. This is going to be a nice game. The Bears got Kyle Long in the first round. Not Kyle Long. Yeah, Kyle Long in the first round. Did I say Kyle Long last for the Dolphins? Well, I meant Jake Long if I did. If not, well, then I was correct. So they got Kyle Long, the tackle/guard in the first round. I don't know about that pick. I thought Matt Diteo could have been a great pick for them to replace Urlacher. Maybe Alec Ogletree. So they needed an inside linebacker, and they didn't get it. They got a guard, which helped out. Maybe Cutler will stop complaining. But until then, out. There's a fifth tackle. Because Justin Pugh went to the Giants just one pick before that. They might have had him in mind for all we know. So, but the Saints, I still think they're gonna have a bounce back year. I like their defense this year. I think it was weird that they were so bad last year. I think they still have a pretty good defense, enough to get them through. And obviously, Drew Brees is still gonna be Drew Brees. He's gonna win. He's still gonna put up crazy numbers. He's got good receivers. He's still got Marquise Colston. So I'm gonna give this win to the Saints, making them 3-2 after 5 weeks. Then week 6, they are at the Patriots. This is obviously a good matchup for the Patriots, so I'm going to give it a win to the Patriots, lost to the Saints. Tom Brady, people are saying he's on the decrease. I kind of agree, but not enough to not have a good year, not a playoff, maybe even a Super Bowl. They lost Wes Welker, they replaced him with Danny Amendola. The huge thing out there is that he's injury prone, which is true. He's missed a lot of the games in the past 2 years. But they still have the two tight ends. I mean, the whole Gronk situation is his 4th surgery now here in May 17th when I'm recording this, but I don't know. He might be already cleared to go to week 1 whenever you're listening to this, or he might be not playing for the first 10 weeks. So, but they still have Aaron Hernandez, who's expected to be back week 1. Brady seems to always get it done, even with whatever receiving core he has. So I got to give this win to the Patriots. So week 7 they have a bye, and so I have them 3-3. So at the bye week, let me do some advertising like they do on Ross Tucker. Go to GetRealFootball.com for all the latest football articles and all that stuff. And I'm doing Bills stuff, who ironically is who the Saints play week 4. So there's going to be a lot of stuff on whatever team you want. Probably the Saints. I'll be doing a Bills schedule just a little bit. So week 8, the Buffalo Bills. I gotta give this to win as much as I hate being a Bills fan living here in Buffalo. But the Bills, who knows who's starting here? Is it Kevin Cobb? Is it E.J. Manuel? Is it even Tavares Jackson? We don't know at this point, but it seems to be completely up in the air. Just 2 days ago, Tavares Jackson took the starting reps as quarterback, so I just don't think the Bills are going to be able to pull out, even though I still love their young receiving core. With Kaufman, they got undrafted free agent Marquise Goodwin, they got in the 3rd round. They got Robert Woods, another receiver in the 2nd round. So, and obviously E.J. Manuel in the 1st round. So I like what they're doing with their offense. I just don't think it's going to be enough to beat the Saints. Week 9, sticking in the AFC East, play the Jets. That's going to be a tough, not that tough of a game. Who knows who's starting? Is it Geno Smith or Mark Sanchez? It's really up in the air, for the Bills at this point. I think the smartest choice would be Geno, and probably even by this point if it is Sanchez. Sanchez will go out there first few weeks, he'll play awful as usual, and then the fans will be cheering for Geno. Maybe Geno will come in, and who knows? So I think Geno will be there for this game against the Saints. But I'm going to give this game to the Saints as well, giving them a 2nd game in a row, making them 5-3. Week 10, they're at home against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. I don't know why the Cowboys get all these night games. They're supposedly America's team, but they're not that good. Tony Romo just signed about a month ago. He signed a monster deal, and then Jerry Jones said that Romo's going to be putting in Peyton-like hours. Now, which isn't true. I mean, Garrett just said a couple days ago that he's going to be staying the same. So, you never know what's going on down there in Jerry Jones' head. In my opinion, he should fire himself as GM and hire real GM. If for those of you who don't know, owner slash GM Jerry Jones he refuses to hire a new GM. He thinks he's got the job done and he owns the team. So win to the Saints here on this one. Even though Des Bryant, Miles Austin, and Jason Witten's a dominant receiving core, obviously. Bryant's a huge threat now. He's talk of the year for at least fantasy this year. But I just think the Saints are going to win this one. So making them 6-3, 3 wins in a row. But I don't think they're going to do that week 11 against the 49ers. I think that's going to be a loss. The 49ers are just so tremendous with Colin Kaepernick at starting quarterback, Franco and the Michael James at running backs. The receiving core is just getting better. They added Anquan Bolden. They still have Michael Crabtree, who really proved himself as a number 1 receiver last year. And they have Vernon Davis, who's a threat down the middle. I really like Kaepernick. I think he's a great guy, great player who's he's got a great arm, he can run, as everyone saw last year in the playoff. He just was one pass away from his first ring in his first half year as a starter, so that would have been pretty good. So I think the 49ers are going to win this. I haven't even mentioned how great their defense is, which everyone obviously knows, because probably every time I talk about the 49ers, I'm going to bring up their defense because it's just so tremendous with their linebackers. Their front seven's great. They added Don Piazza, cornerback, to go along with Carlos Rogers on the other side. They lost to Sean Goldson, but they made that up in the jacket and Eric Reed. So I like 49ers this year as a Super Bowl contender, just like they were last year. So a loss to the Saints, making them 6-4. Week 12 at the Falcons, their second matchup of the year. I had the Falcons winning the first matchup, but I disagree with that this year. This one's on a Thursday night football game, which will be on NFL Network. But I don't know if you guys watched the games between these two teams last year. They were just so good. They came down to a few last plays. I remember watching them last year, and they were just super fun to watch. They were super good games. That's why I think these two teams will split. I think they match up against each other well, even though on paper the Falcons look a lot better. So a win to the Saints there. Week 13 at the Seahawks, the huge talk of the year. Added Cliff Avril, shows their upcoming defense. They have Richard Sherman, who in my opinion is probably the best corner in the league. I mean, Revis is coming off a torn ACL. I really didn't see what the huge buzz about Revis was the past couple of years. Sherman's just coming up. I mean, it does help him that he's surrounded by such a great defense. But, I mean, I've been watching the Jets twice a year with the Bills, and Stevie Johnson, the Bills' number 1 receiver, just lit him up. So I just don't know what the thing is. If Stevie Johnson's not in the top 10 number 1 receivers, well, maybe they're around 10, but Revis is getting lit up by him. So, I mean, even though Stevie he doesn't really fit a number 1 role like a deep threat. He's a slot guy, he runs quick slants. I like him, even though he gets the job done. Had over 1,000 yards receiving in the past consecutive 3 seasons. So, back to the Seahawks. They're just so good. Russell Wilson, instead of Westbrook in the Thunder. But Wilson's just upcoming. He's one of the best young running quarterbacks. They have beast mode Marshawn Lynch, who just adds a complete another factor to this team. They added Percy Harvin, the receiver. They got him in a trade for their first round pick with the Vikings. So that gave the Vikings 2, who eventually got 3 picks in the first round. But I like the Seahawks in this game, dropping the Saints to a 7-5 record, losing on Monday night, which would be their second consecutive road game. They have road game, but also night game is what I meant to say. So after 13, they're 7-5, still fighting for a playoff spot. If they win out, they can still squeeze it. But so week 14, they played the Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton, as people would say, had a sophomore slump last year, air quotes around that, and I don't know, he kind of bounced back towards the end of the year, which really made him look a lot better. I think the Panthers really got to get some help for Newton. Besides Steve Smith, Brandon LaFell had a pretty good year last year, but they don't really have too much. Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams, I really don't think they're that great of a running back. Newton has led the team in rushing the past 2 years. Even though Newton's a tremendous runner, I just don't think that should happen as your quarterback, even though he gets most of the goal line carries and he does enjoy to run the football. So I'm going to give this one to a win to the Saints. I mean, they have a good offense, even though the Panthers got Star Lotulelei, the defensive tackle out of Utah. Their defense is getting better. It's just not strong enough to stop Drew Brees and the Saints, in my opinion. So then week 15, they're at the Rams. I like the Rams. I think the Rams are an up-and-coming team. I mean, Bradford, I don't think he's all that great, but I think he's going to get the job. Like A.J. Dalton, he's nowhere near an elite quarterback. He's gotten them to the playoffs the last 2 years with the help of A.J. Green. Rams have no A.J. Green, but they drafted Tavon Austin with the 8th overall pick. They traded up with the Buffalo Bills for. And I like the Rams. Austin's a huge threat. He's going to run, he can kick return, he can punt return, and obviously receiver. He's such a fast guy. I can't remember, I think it was like 10 touchdowns last year he had at West Virginia, catching for Geno Smith, but like 7 of those were untouched because how fast he is. So, really like Tavon Austin. Also, they still have Quick. They still have Chris Gibbons, so I like their receiving corps. And they have, what's his name? Richardson, the running back. Daryl Richardson, the running back, who they got in the 7th round last year. Who I think he's going to be an up-and-coming star. He got a lot of the rushes in the red zone. He got a lot of the rushes in the red zone last year for the Rams, and now he's the solo back there. So I like the Rams in this one. I think it's going to be a bit of a surprise, but the Saints are going to lose it to the Rams, making them 8-6. Then they play the Panthers again, second time in 3 weeks. I just talked about them, so I don't have to say much, but I'm going to give this one win to the Panthers. It's at home in Carolina. I gave the win to the Saints before, and I gave it to, I'm going to give it to the Panthers here, making it 8-7. And finish off with the Buccaneers. I think this is going to be a good game. I like the Bucs. They're an interesting team. I had the Bucs winning the first week. I'm going to disagree there. I mean, even though they're also an up-and-coming team, they almost had a playoff appearance last year. At the beginning, it looked like it, but then they had a really tough schedule. I'm not going to blame them for that last year. So, I kind of like the Bucs this year. I think they can do pretty good, and I think they're going to beat the Saints week 17, and maybe for a playoff spot. And so that's going to finish up the Saints' schedule, making them 9-7, and that's going to do it for this schedule rundown. Coming up, schedule rundown will be Louis recording right now. I think it's the Panthers, but my next one will be. Hold on, let me pull it up real quick. The Buccaneers, who I just talked about. So, please follow me on Twitter at DaveCrest Sports for all your sports update, everything. Follow Louis at DB Sports Talk. You'll hear a lot about the Sabres, Thunder, well, not anymore, but a lot of football, a lot of good stuff. Also, go to GetRealFootball.com, where we have all our latest podcasts up. They are going to be up on YouTube.com/NFL Experts. Even though we are now called Get Real Football Experts, just because you can't change your username on YouTube. That's why we have it still NFL Experts. So go for all our latest podcasts are on GetRealFootball.com. On the site, you'll see the Football Experts. That's where you should click to hear us. Even though if you are listening to it on YouTube, you might be a few days behind. So it'll be right up there on GetRealFootball.com. Also, for all my articles, everything will be on GetRealFootball.com, and all our videos are on my website. I just created a little bit ago, or not, a couple of weeks ago, DaveCrest.webs.com. That's spelled DAVECRES. .webs.com, DaveCrest.webs.com for all my articles, videos, and stuff. And you can email me, contact me on there. And also, if you want to go to my blog, just go to DaveCrest.webs.com for all my stuff. And on that note, we'll see you next time.